My dad was a musician. He was a percussionist or conguero in a band called, I believe, Pegasus. But like he was a big Santana fan, and he played percussion, or congas. That was his primary instrument. And he's a very badass percussionist. And but now I got a guitar. And just started kind of doodling with that, and middle school came around, started playing trumpet, got more into guitar, found like this kind of like giant guitar jazz chord book, and just kind of dove into that. And then bass player left, and they threw me on an upright, and at the time I was a big Rage Against the Machine fan, and so I'd just bring home my upright and just learn Rage songs on upright, and it was a mix between like playing Rage, Diggable Planets, and like Mingus, and Miles Davis in my room. So it was like with like this crappy plywood bass, Texas State in San Marcos for upright bass. Was an orchestra playing in every single combo they could throw at me. Started playing in local bands. I met Gary in one of those bands, Humble Bums, and playing in San Marcos, and using all the kind of jazz stuff that I learned, and doing like 4-hour improv sets, just straight up, what you would think like a fish, like a local fish band. Went from Humble Bums. I started my own group called Liquid Stereo Project, which was a 7-piece hip hop group. I was backed up Susanna Schoffel, which was a singer for that used to play with me in Humble Bums and Liquid Stereo. Then AM Syndicate, Great Nostalgic. Paperthreat started, the idea of Paperthreat was initially Gary on drums, Gary Franklin on drums, and Vincent Durkin on drums, and it was going to be a trio. It was going to be 2 drums and me doing Ableton, and pretty much what I'm doing now, like playing like guitar, bass, and trumpet, and it was gonna be kind of like a power trio, like 2 drummers and electronics. And but I was kind of like I had a very poor agenda at the time, and Gary was wrapping up an album of his own under his moniker of Install or electronic music. I didn't want to waste his time, so I was like, hey, why don't we take a break from this? I'll come back when I have a better idea of what we're going to do. Vincent and I kind of kept chugging along. I kind of dubbed the project For Why Bonfires, and we started auditioning female vocalists, and that was one of the most tiring things I had ever tried in Austin, was auditioning female vocalists. That is rough, going through Craigslist. I said screw it, because Arius had sent an email wanting to audition for the group, and Arius came in, and he kind of just got it, from the jump. Like, he came in with a pedal, with like this vocal pedal that had effects on it, and he was definitely cool with like experimenting, and in general it was just down to play. And like, we talked about doing harmony, we talked about, he wouldn't necessarily be the lead vocalist. He would just be part of a group, and it would, if I'm singing, awesome. If I'm playing guitar, awesome. If you have me in the back just clapping, awesome, and that was, that mentality definitely won me over. And so that's how I met Arius. Nico, I met through Craigslist as well, and Nico was easy. Like, he came in, he played guitar, trombone, flute, and very much a band geek like myself. And like, Nico came in, and I immediately loved him. I was like, you're. So Vincent was the original drummer when Paperthreat the band started, but Gary has always been part of the band. When Vincent decided to move on with another group, it was very easy, logical to see if Gary was available.
was singing before I was able to, you know, talk and in tune. You know what I mean? Actually, like that whole thing. So my mom and my dad, both musicians. All my dad's family, everybody's overly musically inclined and artistic. And on my mom's side of the family, everybody sings. So it just kind of came natural. I got started back home when I was a kid. I used to walk around all the time with drumsticks. And that carried over to a friend needed to have a drummer in a band, so they located a drum set. I tried out for the band and started playing drums. And that was, I want to say, 8th grade or something. And that was after, you know, a lot of stints in church and that whole thing. But, you know, moved out of Kerrville, moved to San Marcos. And while I was in San Marcos, I was already in a band that was kind of like a techno, kind of electronic thing, but and I played drums for them and did some programming. I was playing in the Humble Bums, and the Humble Bums needed another bassist, and Renee was that bassist. And then me and Renee started hanging out after that. And fast forward to now, we both moved up to Austin during all the Humble Bum stuff, and kept on programming, doing other bands and everything. And him and I always got together every now and then in music lab together, and just played, you know, he played bass, I played drums, and we just jammed off each other. Yeah, Vince had to go, and I played a couple of shows for South by Southwest. Vince's other band, I think, needed him more of a full-time, and so I tried out and stayed in the band. The thing that's different about this, or that made me want to be in this band, is the fact that I actually like the music. Like, I like the music above everything else. Like, it's interesting to me, and I wanted to be a part of it because, you know, it's not your regular stuff.